Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another amazing, let's just say it again, amazing live with a super amazing guest. And I'll explain who she is and how I know her after we say hello to everybody. So let me say hello. And guys, if you're new to me, you crossed over from TikTok, tell me your TikTok handle because I have no idea who you are when you're like, loves the money plus heart, whatever it is. So I want to say hello to everybody. Oh, wow. There's a lot of you on here. So let's say hello. Hello, Eva. Thank you for being here. Robin, good to see you, my friend. Nick, good to see you. Irma, always good to see you, my friend. And Charlene and Nikki from Arizona. Darlene, hello, Darlene. Good to see you. Deanna, hello. Thank you. Cute picture, Deanna. Ellen, good to see you, my friend. And let your fingers do the walking. Amy, hello, Amy. And Brandy, Rachel Elizabeth, what the what? Um, Martin Burke, all the way from the land of green. Hello, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here from Ireland. Kyle, good to see you. Sorry. Melly, good to see you. And Cindy, hello, hello, hello. Good evening to our moderator, Priscilla, with the cool picture. Charlene, I know it's you, Charlene Poodles. Good to see you. And let's see. Sister Sledge, good to see you, Diane. Scott Petra, hello, hello. Oh, Nona, hi, how are you? We had such a great read earlier. Um, and Irma, I know you you pressed the angry button by mistake. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Hi, Joy. Hello. Hey, Beth. And Jody. Good to see you. Judy. Hi, Judy. Yeah, you think these reading glasses work? I had been waiting all day for this. Me too. Me too. Yes, I know you, Joy. Sarah, oh my God, Sarah, so good to see you. You crossed over from the first time I saw you on live today. Hi, Liz and Debbie, Marie, thank you for being here. Stephanie, hello. Intuitive Kiwi on TikTok. And Delora, hello, thank you. The marvelous and mystical Miss Melissa. Wow. She should have her own television show. Hint, hint. Nikki, hello, Nikki. Lauren, everybody, hello, Lori. And thank you. We did. Yes. Brene, hello. Lexi, hello. Deanna, the picture is of my granddaughter in Astoria. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Priscilla. And Brene, thank you. Okay. Woo, that was a lot of thank yous. A lot of thank yous and a lot of hellos. Okay. Being Greek, we always stall for a couple minutes because that's my people. And I had the pleasure of meeting Melissa at the Celebrate Your Life event. It was a amazing event, the first one that I was an observer, an attendee, and then you were also at the one where I won the program winner, and that was, you were so kind, Melissa. You just made everything so comforting for me, and you're like, oh, don't worry. I'm like, does this purple look okay on me? And you're like, yeah, fabulous color. I'm like, thank you. So Melissa, you guys, does a lot. Are you almost done with your PhD?
I'm almost halfway.
Halfway done with
Halfway into a chaotic, I don't know what I was thinking adventure going back to school in my
because
40s.
I know, but you're amazing at what you do. You do coaching. Tell everybody a little bit about you while I'm just checking everybody out here.
Oh, well, thank you. Hello, everyone. I love this so much because every time I get together with this guy, I'm going to point, oh, I did it. I got it right. It's
You
over
did it.
here. Every time I get together with this guy, I know I'm going to laugh a lot. I know it's going to be a lot of fun, meet some new people. Anyway, hello. So happy to be here. My name's Melissa, and I do a lot, like Elias said. And what I'm doing these days is refining that a lot to take some things off my plate and simplify a little bit. And that's actually a really good point to actually lead into all of this, what we're going to talk about today. I decided if it's not potent, if it doesn't light me up, if it's not simple, it's not going to stick around. So these days I'm doing more of I would say, exploration into the depths of the psyche and consciousness, working with the idea of enchantment and magic from a psychological and spiritual perspective, and leading my clients and groups through uncharted territory, basically. And the thing that I love about the work that I get to do with them is they're in control. They're the ones steering the ship. They're the ones, it's a self-empowered type of wisdom connection that we explore versus a me as your guide or some type of spiritual teacher. It's more of an inclusive group type of vibe. And that's what I'm really enjoying these days, working with people in the depths, in the just in the unknown, working with this idea of enchantment, that we can breathe new life into our experiences. We can take things that have become kind of like stale and stagnant and see, is this something we can revigorate, or is this something we need to let go of? And it's extremely fulfilling. There's a lot of unknown and possibility, and we basically are making friends with that part of us that we fear, that part of us that we might reject or abandon or not want to look at, and finding a deeper sense of wholeness. So that's what I'm up to these days. And prosperity
On the
is
truth. Yes, market on the truth.
Validation.
And just so everybody knows, because I know, let me just say this real quick. Thank you, Vicky. Hi, Betty. Hi, Robin. Thank you, Darlene. And she's in a New York state of mind. Yes, she has moved. Courtney, hello. Karen Lipschitz and Betty. And Betty, your picture looks different. I'm sure that's not you, Betty, but great picture. And Amanda, hello. Gloria, hello. So everyone, if you don't know, you are doing your doctorate in psychology, correct?
Yeah, it's an emphasis in depth psychology, which is all about making room for the soul. For the soul to speak. And it has a Jungian flair to it. So Jungian work is archetype, shadow, ego, working with a lot of those principles as well.
And it's really interesting that, we're talking about this, because I love it. If I finished my psych degree, I would have combined the metaphysical, the spiritual, do the psycho-spiritual piece like you're doing. And that's why hats off to you. I mean, you are amazing at what you do, and I love that you can blend the two pieces. As we talked about before, when I was in school, I did a paper comparing, contrasting Erik Erikson's 8 Stages of Man with the 7 chakras, and great paper. Lost it, whatever, it's all good. And that's your deceased husband. Okay, I like the picture. I really do, Betty. I really do. The power of bless and release. Yes. Release. Thank you. Hello. So we're talking about creating a prosperous purpose. So can we, and I'm kidding everybody because everybody likes this joke that I do. We're doing, prosperity. Normally on TikTok, what I do when they're like, am I going to get married? I mean, I'm like, well, go out and do that. That's like doing this. I want a pizza. I want a pizza. That pizza.
Right. It's so true. It's true.
Right. So I think what I'd like for you to explain to people is, we talked about this because the whole month, guys, join me every Wednesday. The whole month is about prosperity, and it's not just about money. It's how we see ourselves as full, and how do we create that. And I'm going to say this purposely, for a purpose. How do we see ourselves full to create our purpose and be feeling full in our purpose? That if you wake up in the morning and say each day, how can I be full in today's purpose? What do you think?
I love it. I love it. One of my favorite things to do around this entire subject, this has become more of I would almost call it a ritual for myself now. But it started through an experience I had with a client, had this awareness of connecting to more aspects of self. Like there's got to be more to me than this, whatever's in front of us. Let's just say a problem, a situation, an obstacle. And what came to me in this session was to align with the idea of what it is we were actually seeking to create, to become, to step into. And there's that Rumi quote of, what you are seeking is seeking you. Well, I took it another step with this little bit of an intuitive hit that I had, and it was help me align to what is seeking me. So it wasn't enough for me to just believe. I'm a little stubborn. I admit I can be very stubborn. I think it's that scientific part of me that kicks in with the spiritual, right? It's like, I believe, I have faith, and let's see, what does this look like really, right? And so when that dropped in, it just started to kind of fill in the gaps a little bit more on this potential around prosperity, about living a more full life, connected life, whatever that is for each of us. So the idea of help me to align to what is seeking me took some pressure off.
Right.
Some pressure to figure it out, to have to know it all, to have to discern the big picture, because we don't always know, right? We don't always know what's coming. We don't always know where we want to go, what we want to do, especially when it comes to prosperity. I see this a lot with people where they're so focused on a dollar amount, or this idea, if I just had this much money, I'd be able to do all these things. But it's often backwards. It's often the other way around, which is, am I in alignment for what I say I want? Am I feeling into that? Am I actually walking my talk? Am I trusting and betting on myself to find that way into that connection, that alignment, whatever language you want to give to that? And then what I find is that's my work right there. So prosperity to me, through purpose and connection and all these things, has come about when I've dedicated myself to knowing my true north. And when I don't feel in alignment, when I don't feel connected, instead of shaming myself or suffering in that space, I reorient. And I feel like that's a key for a lot of us in this idea of even purpose with prosperity. When we say purpose, that can feel really big. That can feel so big, it actually wigs out your nervous system a little bit, to where you might turn away from the idea of purpose, prosperity, connection, trusting in ourselves to co-create our lives. And what I'm saying is we walk towards that instead. We walk towards the discomfort. We walk towards the possibility. We walk towards the idea of finding what the idea of reorientation. What is that? And one of my professors describes it like this: when you're trying to kind of find your footing in a situation, and let's say you're thinking about, like, okay, I'm ready. I want to do great things. I want to fulfill my purpose. I want to figure these things out. He equates it to rearranging the furniture of your psyche. So it's not like you have to get something new. It's not like you have to go on this pilgrimage. I mean, if you want to do that, that's wonderful. But if you can reorient yourself with where you are and start there, I feel like it's more of a straight, direct, it's like an arrow, can shoot right on through to what you want, whatever those target goals are. But when we strive for some idea of prosperity, whatever that looks like, I feel like it takes us on this crazy little rabbit hole all over the place, right? The shiny objects, we get distracted, we start comparing ourselves to what we see that others are doing. But when you come back to reorienting yourself, aligning for yourself, it's all there. It's all right there. It's just a flip of a way of thinking of it.
And that's what I love, because, next week I'm going to be talking about prosperous mindset. So you are speaking my language, sister. I'm so glad. Now, here's something, and hello to everybody that came in while Melissa was talking. Gabriella, I just saw you. So hello, good to see you. Corey and Teresa, no worries. Delora joined your website last night and did the meditation.
Oh.
Awesome. It was wondrous. I love it. Denise, hello. Everyone's loving your analogy. That's awesome. Now, Irma said this, Melissa, I find that I go through the motions of everyday living, but with no purpose. Many of us do, because if we're looking at what's my life's purpose, let's squish that a little bit in how am I living prosperous purpose today? What am I doing for myself today? What would I like to show the world today? How do I want to show up? If we just start from how do I want to show up, that can shift as well. And that is the start. I feel that is the start of creating this prosperous purpose. How do I want to show up? How do I want to be seen in the mirror, not by somebody else? How do you want to see yourself in the mirror? And thank you, Priscilla, for doing this. So here's Melissa's um, Facebook page. Here's Melissa's website. Here's me saying hi to Nan. Um, Melissa is brilliant. I am honored to be mentored by her. I love that, Rachel. I love it. Um, and it's, it's stuff that you and I've talked about. It's stuff that I've talked about on retreats. And it's stuff that, we both do coaching. It's stuff that I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the clients always want to say, like, where do I go next?
Yeah.
What do I do? And I have an answer, but I'd love to hear what your answer is.
Oh, there's so many answers. There's so many answers. That's what I love about this. And, I would say a lot of this comes down to individual as far as, where someone is and what's going on for that person. What are they noticing? Just like that lovely woman that had shared, it's like, well, what are you seeing that is happening every day? What is that going through the motions? I would use that as a greater example to say, where are we potentially sleepwalking through life? Where are we potentially feeling disempowered in our choices? Where are we potentially maybe under a trance of this is all there is? And please know I say that from personal experience of living those exact examples out for many decades, until one moment you just sort of snap yourself out of it a little bit and go, wait a minute. If I'm a co-creator of this life, if I have this breath moving through me and I'm really made of stardust, all the things that we know and we're told, how do I get in touch with that? Like that again comes back to help me align to what is seeking me. Well, what is seeking me? My desire is to be in touch with that, to reawaken to that, to remember who I am. And for me, that is the antidote. And it's the small moments. It isn't necessarily these big, huge, vast, angelic experiences. It's the small moments of, am I rushing through this day? What's going on there? Am I avoiding making that difficult phone call? What's going on there? So presence is a key to that as well. Looking at the moments where we're speeding by, avoiding, disconnecting, disassociating, not wanting to look at it. And my work used to be rooted in a lot of traumatic types of experiences, working with trauma. And I shifted over to enchantment, not to bypass, not to dismiss, but I find there's another way to go about this. And I really feel like it's this idea of presence to what is uncomfortable while inviting in that enchantment. How can I breathe new life into my day? How can I look at it differently? How can I take on beginner's eyes? Because maybe in my mind, in my heart, and maybe even my body is familiar with these same patterns I'm doing every single day. How can I break that trance and decide that today's going to be different? Maybe today feels really big. Maybe this hour is going to be different. You're here right now. It's different for you today already. Can you see that? You're here with us here now. It's already different. Let it be different. I also feel very much that I want to say that we really have an opportunity to recognize we need to be available for the purpose. If we're not available, if we're busy, we're rushing about, we're not even available for things to land differently in our lives, to land differently in our mind. Excuse me, there's somebody whipping by. To allow that furniture of the psyche to be reoriented, right? It takes presence to that. It takes a belief that this can be different. Or we default into the mundane, into the day-to-day, the thing we're familiar with. And somewhere in there is likely a comfort, whether we like it or not, that we're clinging to. Maybe underneath that, there might be a little fear of change. That's just my intuitive
No,
sense.
and I agree. And Nikki says it's tough when you had a purpose, life dramatically changes, and trying to find your purpose again. And if it's a dramatic change, I believe that we don't get anything that we can't handle. And I shameless plug, everybody. In the chapter book that's coming up on You're Awesome, I will talk about.
You got to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, right.
That's
Is
empowered
about,
right there. That's empowerment right there. Own that. You work
thank you.
your tail off to create some
I
magic in this world. I love it.
did. It's switching your mindset by trusting your heart. Your brain can say so much, and your heart is going to guide you. And when you fight it, that's what stops the creative process. It's what stops. And you guys, some of you know my story. The Chicago area all the way to Washington State, not having a place to live because it got shut off midstream. Isn't that exciting? I'll talk about it. And it's anyway, I want to talk about what Nikki just said is that I think we're given a purpose and then we're like, okay, that was your purpose here. Now you have another purpose. It's, John Holland talks about life purpose and soul purpose, both of them being different. And I really think, Nikki, you have, I'm not going to be like one of the scammers on TikTok that says, you have beautiful energy, spelled wrong, and tell you that, but you do, you have great energy. And can we acknowledge the shift and then say something like this: what else is possible? How can it get better than this? Show me, lead me, direct me to my next step. Softly, gently, and quickly. Thank you. And I really mean it. You say that, and people are saying, Nikki, I agree. Feel very lost when that happens. So Carla says, finally got in. Awesome. So how do we shift? How do we take that, oh, I thought I knew, to what else is possible? What else is possible?
I love this because what comes to me immediately is this is a great opportunity. And I just want to be clear to say I'm not directing this necessarily towards that comment. I feel like this is a broader idea. Just, because some people are like, is that about me? And this is just a bigger, a different way to see this is sometimes when we get attached to purpose, whether we had it and lost it, or it changed, or life happens, circumstances, all of it. Sometimes a safety mechanism of self, like our ego, kicks in and identifies with that role of that purpose. That's not always a bad thing. I want to be very clear to say the ego is healthy. It creates boundaries for us. It's a part of self, greater self. And we need this part of ourselves. But sometimes when we have an attachment in that area, we can get really hung up on what that looks like and feel like the rug has been pulled out underneath us when something circumstantial happens in our lives to shift that. And so part of what I feel is a way to go about that is to remember that your life in itself is a purpose just as it is. And I know that's hard for some people to hear because we want to have this grandiose sense of, I do this great thing. Because often then it might be pointing to us seeing that we might have our personal value tied to purpose. That's something else to think about and to look at. And so purpose from let's just say a spiritual perspective, maybe higher self perspective, might look different than ego purpose. And again, not bad. And they can be in alignment and they can be very much, in fact, here's a little trick. Here's how you know when your human desire for purpose and your higher self purpose are in alignment: synchronicity. It's that's what you see. Synchronistic events happen. But to find your way back into that, it's letting go of control, letting go of control, letting go of what the situation is. Now, for some of us, that might include grieving that might need to happen for a loss of some kind. For others, it might be forgiveness. There might be some type of emotional work to do before that step can occur. We might be holding on to that idea. For example, one of my purposes I used to think was to be a photographer. I thought that capturing the essence of people was what I was going to do my whole life. And I was really good at it. And I worked with a lot of really well-known, famous, even spiritual people, teachers, authors, writers. And so I had this ego identity thing wrapped up in, well, I can't let go of that because this is really special. I get to hang out with these people. I get to see these things. Right? I had this different idea. And so my soul had been nudging me for a long time saying, it's time to let that go. But everybody outside of me was attached to the purpose they thought I had. So that's the other thing when we talk purpose is it is so personal. It is so personal and no one can tell you what your purpose is, but I do believe you know deep down. And I don't think it's one thing. I think when we think it's one thing and it's lost or we missed out or it's gone, I think that's when we slipped into the ego. Because I truly believe that your soul, your higher self is leading you to a new purpose in every second, every moment. Yep. Is it okay if I share a very short story here that highlights this? I have this brilliant story. This story, I can talk to you for like 6 hours. I have this amazing story and I want to share it with you because it is a story that changed my view of purpose.
Hold that thought 1 second. I just want to acknowledge Nikki said, thank you, Elias and Melissa, and thank you, everyone, for not making me feel alone. Oh, guys, this is why I do these chats. This is why I do this chat. So you all know that you're not alone because we felt it. Melissa and I have felt it. This is why. This is the purpose. Okay. All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry, honey.
No, it's beautiful. One purpose out of the many, because we know that Elias does so many different things, and this is one. And look at his presence, how showing up for an hour out of his day in this way, on top of all of the other things he does, creates a shift for people. That's one purpose out of many. So many years ago, I was at this retreat, and there was a woman who was kind of going, and again, on private conversation, I'm going to change some details, but I'll give you the essence of the story. She was going through a hard time trying to figure out her purpose, talking about purpose. And I'll never forget, because my intuition was showing me what she couldn't see. And she's describing this scenario where one of her neighbors would come over and would bring her like these brownies or cookies, these baked goods. And you know, it just brought her so much joy to bring over these baked goods and deliver it to this woman. And the woman was so grateful and appreciative, but almost kind of felt a little guilty, felt bad. Like, what do I do for her? I don't bake. Like, I'm not into that. What do I do? How do I reciprocate? And my spirit showed me immediately. And I said to her, I just, out of curiosity, when you go and you leave your home, do you pass by her home? And she goes, I do. I'm like, do you slow down to wave at her? And she goes, I do. She's like, when I go to drive by her house, I see her in the window and she's, you know, looking out the window and I wave to the woman and I keep going. I'm like, that's the reciprocation. I'm like, you don't understand that your acknowledgement of that woman is likely the only acknowledgement she might receive for a portion of her day. You make her feel seen. You make her know she's not alone. You let her know that her presence matters in some way. Now, it might feel insignificant to you because you're in your car, you're on your way to go do something else, you're not thinking about it, but you pause, you take the time to wave and acknowledge her. Her baking is just one way that she feels she can give back for what you do for her. The point is, we don't always know what purpose actually looks like. And that is prosperity too, in a way, right? That's an exchange of energy that happens. Most of us want our purpose to be attached to our career. We want it to be attached to our bank account. We want it to be attached to how we show up in this world in these really big ways. And what I really want to say is, like, it's these small moments that are just as big. But if we're in a rush, we miss out. If we don't allow ourselves to feel into these experiences, we miss the joy, the connection. We miss our purpose in what is trying to be shown to us as another purpose. And so just thinking of the things you do and finding appreciation and gratitude. And I know we're tired of hearing, be grateful, write out your gratitude list, yada, yada. But the truth is, these moments are moments of connection. They're purposeful. It's like, it just makes me emotional to think of that story, because both people in that dynamic likely felt like they weren't doing enough, like they weren't being enough. But there was this beautiful reciprocated energy that the universe just orchestrated for both of them to live where they did in that neighborhood, to encounter each other. We have to remember, we can't see the big picture to purpose, but if you're showing up and you're living and you're choosing to do that, and you're choosing to find these moments, they will come to you. You'll start to see them through a different mindset, through a different lens, and all of a sudden, nothing will be simple anymore. Nothing will be insignificant anymore. The way you smile to a stranger, the way you hold a door open, the way you let someone hold a door for you, it all matters. It all means something. It all has purpose deeply embedded into it.
And that is so true. And for those of you that are like, well, purpose changes or purpose shifts. So I'll try and be a short story. I will try to be a short story. So think about it. 1945, Sicily. No, I'm just kidding. Think about think about this. Mom and dad, y'all know. Oops, wrong way. Over here. So dad, graduate of University of Chicago business school, blah, blah, blah. Mom went to University of Chicago for a short time. She was a psych major too. Business, business, business. Think about business. So what did I do? I had to find my purpose, not mine, theirs. I had to find my purpose and be a business person. I was like, oh, because I always heard doctor, lawyer, businessman, doctor,
Mhm.
lawyer, businessman. One of the three. That's your purpose. One of the three, and be a good person. Those people, that purpose. Well, I loved animals. I wanted to maybe be a veterinarian. I did want to teach. I did want to help and be of service. And I liked acting. I did want to be on a stage and make somebody smile that way. All those pieces, I did community theater. I volunteered at a hospital. After that, I'm like, I'm not becoming a doctor. And but I did like the health field. I became a massage therapist. I wanted to open up my own retreat
Mhm.
center. But look what's happened. I got to be on the Celebrate Your Life stage. I've got to be on TV, local television. I never thought I would be an author. I'm teaching workshops. I'm facilitating retreats. I love the psychology piece, but I mean, obviously, very limited. And I'm doing all the teaching, acting, being on stage, so I'm not afraid. All those pieces, all those small purposes created yet a bigger piece, yet a bigger piece, a purpose that was created that I wasn't even aware, and it's still evolving. It is still evolving. When you say yes to the universe says yes back. And it's something that I've always said, and I always believe it. You know, I had amazing, where are they? I had amazing teachers and amazing teachers. And we learn each and every day. Open yourself up, everyone. Open yourself up to, how can I be creative today? Today. How can I be creative in this moment? How can I be creative tomorrow, next week? And how can I share something that might have happened to me to inspire someone else? I mean, some of you have heard this story, but being sexually molested, not abused, sexually molested when I was younger, and then going to massage school and teaching, and then having a class that I didn't know, unbeknownst to me, because I was open and vulnerable. 9 of them out of the 14 students were molested. And I said, touch is important. And this is what we do. This is what we do, everybody. We have an experience that we shift and change, learn from, and inspire others or make a difference in someone else's life. One life can change another person's life, which allows them to create the purpose that might inspire them. So, Priscilla says, Linda Sue Brown, on her website, you can sign up for a free ebook. I love
Oh,
it. Yeah. And here it is,
thank you.
melissacorter.com, you guys.
Oh,
Um,
I love
so,
her. Great.
Scott Petra says, I learned from my 5-year-old granddaughter, see the beauty in very simple things. Exactly. Kids are
Absolutely
amazing. They teach us.
present. They're so
Yes.
present.
Yes. So, does anybody have a question for Melissa? Just a question about, and here's a part that I want you guys to hear, because I'm going to say the quote wrong. But um, you give a man a fish, right? You give a man a fish and he'll eat, but you teach him how to fish and he has food for life. I'm quoting that so wrong. But think about, it's not, hey Melissa, what's my purpose?
Right.
It's, hey Melissa, how did you shift?
Hmm.
It's about asking a question in a different way. Rachel says, this extreme validation for the chapter I submitted today. Thank you both. Yes, I love that.
That's
And
awesome.
Nicole, I'm learning so much right now. Awesome. Brandy says, how do you change from being stagnant or keeping yourself from being stagnant?
Ah, so good question. I love that question. So first of all, the way that I share and teach is I'm very transparent. And so I'll just tell you right off the bat, I experience stagnancy myself and I'm not immune to that. And I certainly revisit struggle and turmoil and challenge just like the rest of us do. And what I've learned is that if something is stagnant in my life, I go to a couple different areas and I create some movement because sometimes we may not feel empowered to create that movement right off the bat. We might have an idea, a belief, we might be attached to whatever that stagnant area of life is all about. We might have some stories going on there. And when we have that happening, we're sometimes so deeply enmeshed in it, we don't recognize that we're just in our own way, if that makes sense. So for me, it's movement. How can I get out of the environment I'm in that I'm creating or spinning from? So I might go for a walk. I might take a trip. I might, and it doesn't have to be an elaborate thing. We're not talking about this whole big thing that costs a lot of money or takes a lot of your time. It might be that you get up from the same seat that you sit in every day and you move to a different area of the home, because it is proven scientifically that when you move your body in that way, again, the furniture reorients in your psyche, right? So you're able to have different things show up. You're able to see something differently that might have been there the whole time. But if we're in this frame of mind where it's tunnel vision, even when we're very open-minded, that we still find ourselves having this type of experience, this conditioning that happens. So get up and move. The antidote to stagnancy is movement, right? So I look at the opposites. If something feels stuck, I know the truth is that we're always in a state of flux and change. So the stuckness is a story. And if I feel stuck, what can I do to simulate movement so it gets my body moving, my energy field moving, so I feel like I'm in the movement and then my mind follows, right? Sometimes we can work the mind to get the body and the energy to follow, but other times if we actually physically move the body, then the energy and the mind will follow in that way. So that's one of the first things I would do. Revisiting that is very important. Over and over again. And sometimes it's a little more care to the physical body. So sometimes we might feel very stagnant on a physical level. Interesting. It's validation for someone there. And I had this happen recently too, even just moving across the country, sitting in the car for 3 days and not move. And my car was moving, but my body wasn't. And it took me some time to adjust. And I was tired and I didn't feel like moving. I felt like sleeping. And I forced myself to just go for a short walk. And it really started to have things open up again. So physical movement can absolutely be helpful. If physical movement isn't possible, it's okay to pen to paper movement. Journaling is a great form of movement as well, to move the energy and to help get some ideas. Usually, when we're feeling a little stagnant or stuck, we have this thought of, well, what is going to fix this? I want the answer, I want the solution. But to become available for the answer, the solution, we might need to create some space first or have some flow first. So I like to do some journaling, nonsensical rambling. You're not editing it, you're not submitting it as a manuscript. You're just writing to get it out of your system, to help your nervous system to adjust and to release whatever it is you might be holding. So those are a couple of key things that I would truly go with. My last go-to that I use all the time, and I call this as it's an active process of creating some movement, is emotional freedom technique, tapping. It's also called tapping, where you tap on these various points. That helps move some energy. So if you think of acupuncture, where they use the needles, use your fingertips along these different meridian points. And when you tap, it creates an energy flow. And the emotions soon follow as well. So those are some really powerful and quick ways to start creating some movement when you feel stagnant. And when it starts to creep back up, you just keep coming back to that alignment. What do I do to move this? How do I, what am I craving right now to help me move forward? Am I afraid? Stagnancy usually means we're backing away from something. We're afraid, we might be fearful. We might be caught up in some grieving or some sadness or heavy emotions, and movement can help us cut through that mindfully, not bypassing what you're feeling, but in a mindful manner.
True. Very true. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Lori. And Pam says, yes, journaling is what has kept me sane while being sick. True. Yeah. Zingerbear Marie, I love her Dudette. How are you? And guys, please also follow my friend Ginger Parrot, Healing Heart Medium. Please follow her. Brandy says, thank you. Deb, hi, I just love you too. Love you too. Kimberly, it's Kimmy Boo for hello, Kimmy. And Nell calls us, thank you. So, guys, think about this. Creating your purpose, prosperity, creating it. Well, I don't want this. Sure don't want that. God, I really don't want that. And I know hell to the no on that one. Write all that down. Write every single thing that you don't want down. Write it down today. Write every single thing that you don't want down. And when you write it down, then make a line. And after you make a line, if you know it and you focus on what you don't want, then flip it to what you do want. Start there. How do I create? I don't know. Well, I don't know what to do. I have no idea. I mean, I'm sitting in this house and, I haven't bought anything new, and I think I need some new deodorant. I need to buy that, and maybe this shirt and that on. Whatever it is, own the piece that you're in. Own that moment. Swearing, please hold. I feel like shit today. Okay. Yay! You feel like shit. Own it. Own that I feel like shit. And after you own like shit, that was the moment. Okay. Next moment. What do I want to create? If you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So if you want to stay in the caca boat, stay in the caca boat. It's brown, it's mushy, it's gushy, you're used to it. Then comes the flower boat. I don't deserve that. I'm not worthy of that. There's no way I can get over there. Look, I'm all stuck in caca. Well, guess what? You dip out of the flower boat, you cleanse yourself in the water, and then you go right into the pretty boat. The purpose here is create what you want. You know what you don't want, and create what you do want. And that part makes you prosperous. That part of saying yes to the, okay, here's a caca, got it. Yes to, well, there's a possibility of something else. And yes to now doing it. Because if we just sit there in the shit, that's what you're going to get. Would you agree, Melissa?
You're going to get, not only are you going to get that, but you're going to get more people that want to sit in it with you, who want to share their shit with you, who want you to talk their shit with them. And next thing you know, there's a shit show literally that you're all sitting in, and no one's happy and no one moves forward, but it starts to feel normal because we see everybody there and everything becomes familiar and comfortable there. And you've got to be the one to break the cycle. Sometimes that's your role. Sorry, I don't know why motorcycles.
Because they're
Sometimes that's your
driving to
role.
the food show.
What if your purpose is to be the one that stops the shit show? What if that's the purpose? Just a thought.
Just a thought. That's a isn't it? It's a
Hmm.
I think so. Yes, Diana, misery loves company. That's so true. Because you're like, yeah, I feel shitty too. Yeah, you feel like shit. Yeah, shit. And then what do we have? Like you said, we have this shit show. And then how do you get yourself out of that? If you have so much pile of shit, you now have to dig yourself through that. So write down your shit list. Write down your shit list. And the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, write that down and then rip it up. That is not how you create purpose. It's not. You're creating a purpose. You're creating a more what you have. We're both saying create something different. Be
Break
open.
the cycle.
Be open. Karen says, take a shower, damn it. Um, let's see. Uh, you're. I feel like you're describing mainstream media to a T. Hmm, interesting. Lori, Eliza's channeling Monday morning. That's cute. Um, how about stopping? I go for everyone and feel guilty if I don't. I feel bad if I sit and do nothing. Like right now is okay because I'm listening to you. If I just watch TV, I would try to think something I should do instead. Guess what? If you're shooting yourself all over the place, you're doing that. You're doing that. Oh, wait. Oh, hang on. One moment. Hold the boat, everybody. Pun intended. Nikki Schletz is here, you guys. Nikki's going to be on with me, and we're going to talk about. Uh, are you ready? And go ahead, Nikki. Please do the plug for yourself so everybody knows who you are. Nikki left. Nikki left her medical interpretive job. She was um, medical interpreter for the deaf. She left that to live her prosperous dream. And
Hmm.
she is going to be on this Saturday, 5 p.m., guys. And we're going to talk about how she said, oh my God. And now she has a charting company, a boat charter in St. Thomas.
That's amazing.
I know. I know. So I'm sorry. I had to stop for that. But the shoulda couldas. Why do we do that? We do it because I don't feel worthy. Because what we were told was if you work on yourself, that's selfish. But what's the old saying? Mask comes down. If you're running through the plane and your loved ones are in the last seat in the last row, and you're like, oh my God, I got to get there. I got to get there. But you didn't give yourself oxygen. Guess what? You're dead and they're dead because they were waiting for you. Fill yourself first. Let your cup overfloweth so then you can help others. Sorry, I got in a little soap opera.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. I totally agree. I totally agree. And I feel like a lot of that is hardwired into us. And if we can recognize that there's something going on there underneath the surface, what would happen if I just stopped? Do I fear what that would look like? Would I lose people? Would things change if I stopped being who I was in this way of running? Personally, I had to look at that and realize that my value was unconsciously hinged on how I overexerted myself. I remember one particular time we were living in this situation where it was very difficult to run my business online. The Wi-Fi was non-existent. We lived in this beautiful little town called Sedona, Arizona, and it was wonderful but not ideal for Wi-Fi purposes. And one particular day, someone who I absolutely admired, who I really didn't know well, but we were kind of connected, asked me for what they thought was a simple favor. Well, that simple favor required me sending them something that took a lot of data, a lot of time. And I sat in a parking lot for 7.5 hours in the back of a coffee shop that had already closed to use their Wi Fi to send this person this thing. Now, this person had no clue. They had no idea what they asked of me because they thought, oh, just send me a file. I wasn't capable of sending that file with the technology that I had in the way that they wanted it. And instead of just saying, yeah, next week I can get that to you when I have adequate Wi-Fi in different situation, my people pleaser kicked in and I sat in an uncomfortable vehicle in the heat for 7 hours trying to use this connection to make this thing happen. It was slower than anything. And not once did it occur to me I could have said no. And I
Right.
reflect on that, right? And I'm like,
Well,
what was going on? And it felt like autopilot. So for a lot of us, this is an unconscious automatic behavior. And to break those cycles, we have to start getting really uncomfortable with the actions we're taking and questioning, not shaming ourselves, but questioning, why do I feel the need to show up in this way? What is this? What do I believe about myself in this dynamic? What am I afraid of changing in this? There's usually a power struggle or power play there. There's usually a people pleasing type of a thing. There might be some enabling going on. And I'm just giving different scenarios,
right.
codependency, but there's a lot of different reasons that we show up that way. And what I would also ask is the voice that says, you can't do this, whose voice is that? Is it
Right.
yours? Is it someone else's? Is it something you witnessed? Something I tell people there's 3 areas to look at with a lot of this stuff. Did you witness it? Did you have it directed at you? Or for those of us that are empaths, did you just absorb it? Was it just adopted as a behavior, a feeling, a knowing on a deep level of this is how I behave in order to be loved, to be appreciated, to be seen, to be valued? There's usually something there around that piece for sure.
And here's the part that, we always say no is a complete sentence. And let me
Mm.
tell you, everybody, I was the vice president of the People Pleaser uh, Association. And hang on one second. Uh, Priscilla, can you post Melissa? It's MelissaCorter.com. Melissa, CORTER.com. That was for Brandy. There you go. And the other thing, guys, Melissa brings up is here's a little twist for all of you to think about. Are you holding on to, watch how I'm going to say this. How are you holding on to a legacy?
Mhm.
Mom was this way, grandma was this way, and this is just how it is. I don't want to disappoint them when grandma and mom are no longer here. So you are thinking that you need to be part of that. Guess what? There is something that you can do, and it's called cut the blueprint. You cut the blueprint cord, and shameless plug coming. And we do that on a retreat, by the way, everybody. We will actually do a body map, and you write down words that you got from your mom and dad, that also grandma and grandpa had, that also great grandma and grandpa had, and we burn that blueprint. Can't tell you the whole thing, but it's a great ceremony. And that being said, Melissa, I would love, publicly, I'm announcing this, I would love sometime for you and I to co-facilitate a retreat.
Oh, that would be incredible.
It would
That
be
would be
so
incredible.
much fun. It
That
would be
would be
so
fun.
much.
And I have
And
to say something quick before you before you say anything. I can tell when you're about to drop like this incredible wisdom because you do this really cool, like adorable little thing where you go, and then it streams through you.
yes,
You take a moment where you,
that's called the Greek pause.
and then it's like
I used to just do
magic.
this. Um,
Yep.
no, mom was that way. See, yes, 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 yes. Generalization bullshit. I love that. Yes. Oh my God. Thank you for saying that. I'm not holding on to a legacy anymore. Nikki Schletz, I've done a body map on a retreat with Elias. Very powerful. Thank you, Nikki. And Nikki, guys, has assisted on retreats. Nikki says, thank you. I can't wait to talk about our adventure and journey with Elias and everyone soon to talk about what it took to get here, what it took to reinvent myself, and so many other things. Look, if I can do it, so can you. What do you want in your life? Go after it. So, guys, Nikki will be on Saturday, which you know I'm not on Saturday, 5 o'clock. So don't forget to come and support her and hear her amazing story. And I miss you so much, Nikki, and I can't wait to see you. Okay. Lori says that Greek eyebrow makes me think I'm in trouble. Yes, it should. Uh, Dolores says commercial from the 80s. They could bring home the bacon, fry it up a pan, serve it to the family, clean the kitchen, do the laundry, clean the house, walk the dog, fix the car, and be exhausted. Yes. Thank you, Priscilla, for doing this. You know, I can't believe a whole hour has gone by. You and I just, it's so amazing to see you. You know that even when we're not in touch, please know I truly do adore you. I just wouldn't ask anybody to co-facilitate a retreat.
Oh, I feel
I think
honored.
I think it would be so much fun and interesting. So we'll wait till things, like simmer down for a little bit over there. And what do you got coming up? I know you're shifting things. So if you want to tell everybody.
Shifting, yes. So just to live and explain what I was even talking about earlier, just looking at your life and deciding what works, what doesn't. That's what I'm doing in my business. I just recently moved from Arizona to New York. Recently, as in like 2 weeks ago, exactly today, I got in at 3 a.m. And I'm looking at all of it and going, what lights me up? What feels good? What do I want to continue to do with people? What needs to shift and change? And so I did open up a couple of spots. I don't do a lot of private mentoring these days. It's more group experiences. I just have a few of those open. I only work with a couple of clients per month. And then also we have some group mentoring that'll be opening up this summer, a little bit later in the summer, likely August. I like to do things when there's a shift of the season on the horizon. And our group mentoring is usually based on a theme. And so it's likely going to be whatever that shift of season changes. So moving from summer into fall, there's a lot of changes we go through psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. So we'll likely do a group mentoring program at that time. You can find my information on my website, melissacorter.com. And we have a lot of different programs, classes, courses, all of that kind of wonderful stuff that is getting revamped for our membership. So the membership, we currently have the doors closed because we're making some changes. But once we open that up again, it's going to be a space for what I call the seekers and leaders who want to live these lives and businesses that are enchanted, and feel that sense of magic and be in touch with that. And not in a hokey way of where people throw the word magic around, and it's really not. It's sort of like gimmicky. And what I'm talking about is where everything has a life essence to it. Like you can't deny the synchronistic moments and events, and you just feel excited to wake up and participate in your life. So no more sleepwalking, no more being under these trances of disempowerment, like we like to say, but actually getting in touch with what it is we want to co-create in our lives. And so more to come, but that's the direction we're going in. I have a couple books out there, working on a project right now. Our second compilation book, we actually just closed the doors to that, but that'll be launching. It's all about, it's called The Wild Woman's Book of Prosperity. That'll come out actually for the fall equinox. We'll be launching that. So lots of good things to come. So if you just go to my website, we can stay in touch, and you'll be able to see what's coming down the road.
And guys, please follow Melissa. She is just a gem. And Debbie said, I have to watch the replay. My man just came to town to surprise me. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Where can we find your books? Linda was asking.
Yeah, so actually Amazon, if you just type in my name, Melissa Kim Corter, they should come up. But you can also go to my website. I think they should be on there by now. We're revamping the website too. So if something I mentioned here is missing, you can just email our office and we can direct you to it. Melissa@melissacorter.com. or info@melissacorter.com. But a lot of those things should be on the website by now. And if not, if you go to Amazon, all of our books are up on Amazon too.
Everyone is saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And guys,
Oh.
here's the piece. All of you that are TikTok followers, this is why I wanted you to come over to Facebook or to hear this, because you know we bring so many good, wonderful people to you. Just like Nikki's going to come on Saturday, and it's bringing people that I trust, people that have integrity. Um, Willow is working up a storm over there. I don't know what she's doing. And Harry's going to bark in a second. Barking on the truth. Barking on the truth. And that's the UPS person. Nobody ever gets in here, let me tell you. But thank you. I agree. And what I would love for you guys to do is have your followers, have your friends follow Melissa, follow the people that I bring on, have your TikTok friends, not the scammers, please, thank you. Have your TikTok friends come follow me over here. Let's grow this community. Let's grow this community. And guys, if you haven't, you'll love this one, Melissa. If you haven't signed up for Soul Chat, Soul Chat is a 2-hour Zoom workshop where we'll talk about everything woo woo. We'll talk about guides and oils and chakras and anything, but then we also get to know one another. Mm-hmm. Things don't happen without community. And I'd like to, if it goes really well, I'd like to offer it once a month. And we'd offer it, we'll see how it goes, but we'll make a nominal fee like once a month for $10 to get to know people, to grow community. Things happen with support. And that's why if you go to eliaspatras.com, it says connect, educate, and grow. So, Melissa, thank you so much for your time. And can you hold the thought for a moment? And everyone, where's Soul Chat? Go to the website and you'll see it. As always, we are here to connect. And when we connect, we educate. And when we educate, we grow. There is unity in community from our hearts to yours. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening and see you on TikTok tomorrow, 7:30 Pacific time for guided meditation. Woo-woo!